Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am building a new mansion for the Landgraab family. I've been slowly going through and building new homes for some of the townies in The Sims 4. A few of the ones I've done in the past include the Goths, the Calientes, and today we're working on the Landgraab home. I also did the Pancakes house relatively recently. But anyway, this one was a huge task as it's a mansion. It's a huge home. Their original one was a disaster, but I wanted to still keep some of the modern elements of that, but kind of blend it in with the other styles that are found in Oasis Springs. If you're not familiar with the Landgraab family, they're a wealthy family that has been in The Sims for a very long time. I want to say, I'm not sure if they've been in since the first Sims. I want to say it was The Sims 2 that they were introduced, but I might be wrong. Or maybe it was The Sims busting out. Anyway, either way, the family consists of the father, who is Jeffrey Landgraab, his wife Nancy, and their son Malcolm. And in The Sims 4, we also have the Sim Johnny Zest, who is kind of like their estranged child who they disowned and kicked out because he wanted to pursue a comedy career. So he doesn't live in this house, but I did decorate a bedroom that is kind of what used to be his bedroom, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to share it with you. I had so much fun with this build. I started it over on Twitch a couple of weeks ago now, so you might recognize parts of it from then. And also, if you'd like to join in the future and be part of the streams, part of the building process, for a lot of the videos I do here on YouTube, I do stream 5 days a week over on twitch.tv/Gryphi. If you'd like to join us, that is on Mondays through Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern and Sundays at 2 p.m. It'd be really fun to have you there. I have such a blast, and it makes my day whenever anyone pops in and says that they came over from YouTube. So yeah, I will have that linked down below. But a little bit about this house. It is, of course, a 50 by 50 lot. This is the original lot that their home is on. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Affluista mansion. So it's a 50 by 50, and this home ends up having 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and coming in at 205,000 simoleons and change. And the main structure is mostly there at this point. I don't end up keeping this pergola over here. I end up creating my own with columns and half walls. That was a little bit more modern, but this is the general shape of the house, and landscaping this as well as creating a cool backyard and figuring out the whole interior was quite a process. Like I said, this is a huge build. This took me more hours than I would like to admit, and that is why this is such a long video. I hope you have a snack, you're sitting down ready to relax, because we have 27 minutes together, almost 28 minutes, and then however long screenshots and stuff are after that. So let me know if you like the longer videos like this. Obviously, they would only be longer like this when it's a big build like this, which I've been doing more of recently, but they're still not the only thing I do because they take so long. And if I did only bigger builds, we would not have as many uploads on the channel. And I like uploading really frequently, and I also adore tiny houses and apartment builds. But regardless, we're working on the back of the house now, trying to figure out a structure. I really wasn't sure how I wanted to do this. I thought like having some steps down would be cool. And I do end up keeping that in the end. It just ends up being slightly different than it is now. And there ends up being a pool in the backyard too. I just wanted this to scream like country club Sims, like Sims that are or in like a yacht club or something like that, and very wealthy, but it's like a mixture of the various like more Spanish or Mediterranean style houses that are in Oasis Springs and the modern style that they had in their original house. Let me know if you think I achieved that. I think this house ends up being so beautiful in the end. I really, really like it. But it did take a while to come to the final shape because it's just a little bit of a weird one, and there was a lot of experimentation. You can see me playing with the roof now, trying to figure out how to make this look okay. And I did have to play with like the color scheme as well as like some of the sizing of the different pieces of roof because it just didn't look balanced for a long time, but I get there in the end. And I also end up swapping out some of the windows. And once I decided to change it to be that all of the windows and like accent colors were black, this immediately started coming together because we have the like sort of style that's a little bit more traditional, but the pops of black look way more modern. I also really liked those windows I did over there that kind of arch over the garage space, and I will be changing the roof texture as well. I'm currently using one that is from Jungle Adventure, but I end up going for a base game one, I'm pretty sure, in a black swatch. This still has the same sort of texture, but it is black instead of this like reddish color. There it is. It's a similar texture. It's not exactly the same, but I think it looks so much better. And of course, this would get really warm because we're in the desert, but it's The Sims and that doesn't really matter. And I loved how it looked, so I decided to go for that. Plus, these Sims have so much money, they could afford all of the air conditioning and everything that they could possibly want. So I thought it was fine to do that. And you can really see this is starting to come together, even though I have so much more landscaping in all of the backyard and the interior to go. I do change up the grass I have outside though, and you can see in the beginning I had lined that up with the sort of flower beds off lot so that it looked a little bit more realistic, but that way I was able to add some greenery that looked more natural to be there. Obviously, it costs a lot to keep grass alive in the desert, so I have it mostly in the front yard. The backyard didn't really need it because I fill up most of it with like a pool and like lounging areas. I have plenty of plants back there, but not as much greenery. And I think it worked quite well. I also used lots of trees on this lot, pretty much using the ones that I see in the background in the environment. So there are in the Live Edit Objects catalog. Same thing with these bushes. So I use some like low-lying grass over here. And we also have plenty of palm trees. A variety of different ones, not just the ones I see off lot. I was just trying to make it look as nice as possible. And at some point I deleted the pool because I wasn't sure about it. And then it's coming back now. And you can see how I did like a little step down section in the middle here. And I also really wanted this area right here to kind of like pop out and have a glass roof over it. I thought that would look kind of cool. I do change this in a little while to be slightly different than that. This actually ends up being the room where the living space is. And so I, on the inside and on the outside, have a fireplace, which I'll be placing down a little bit later. But at first I was thinking it could be like a greenhouse sort of space. I was thinking probably the dining space, but that's not what that ends up being in the end. It just kind of evolved over time. But out front, I'm just adding some more fencing to make this property look a little bit more private and add some more interest. And then I added a fountain out front as well, which I thought was quite cute. I don't use the fountain tool very often in The Sims. But I feel like for a very wealthy mansion, like something for the land grabs, it just made sense. So I did add that. I also added a little bit of ivy growing up over here just to add a little bit of interest, and then playing around with the placement of some more plants. I kept in a lot of the landscaping, but not all of it because there was a lot and it did get repetitive at times. So you might see things just kind of pop into place from time to time. But out back, we're just trying to figure out this area still. I can't wait until you see me place down the fireplace because I think it looks so nice. It's the one from the Desert Luxe kit, and it was just perfect for this house. I was so happy with how the interior came out, but for once, I love the backyard. I've talked before about how I feel like I struggle with backyards in particular, especially ones that have lots of activities like you would imagine this house has, and it does have a lot of activities. And I think it came out so cute in the end. I didn't feel like I struggled with the space that much. It just kind of came together. And I think that has to do with the fact that this is for a very wealthy family and they have this massive pool and all these things that I felt like made sense to include that I don't always include in builds. So anyway, swapping out some of these loungers. I will be getting rid of half of them to put a table instead. But up here, I do have like the whole outdoor set from the Desert Luxe kit. So we have the bar, the barbecue, some seating, and here is that fireplace I had mentioned. It is so beautiful. I love that out here, and I just put it on the other side of the wall as well inside the house. But I think that's a little bit later once we're actually like gonna work on that. But here I am creating some covers over the different sides I have out here. It ends up being on both sides, but I think I only show one of them. And this is exactly how I'm going to create that same cover over the cars in the front a little bit later as well. I just think it looks better and fits the style of this home more. I really love the style of the pergola I put out front, but it didn't make sense for this house. But anyway, here I just have the couches, putting some doors on either side of the fireplace, and then we're heading inside to work on the floor plan. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure there's some more I do outside. Yeah, because in the backyard, in that back corner, I end up adding like an additional little house in the back. I wasn't sure what I was going to use it for yet, if it was going to be a place for like the in-laws to stay or what, but I actually ended up making it into offices for Jeffrey and Nancy. If you didn't know, they have a kind of opposite careers, and I thought it would be interesting to have them working in a very similar space, like they share a wall of an office, or like their offices are next to each other, so like there's a wall between them that keeps them separate. But Jeffrey is a lead detective, and Miss old Nancy Landgraab, is a minor crime lord. So we have a criminal and a detective that are married, living under the same roof, and so I thought that their offices out back would be a cute idea to have them next to each other. Just the drama there, I quite enjoyed that. But that gives you an idea of what these Sims are. If you're not familiar with the Landgraabs, Nancy is an ambitious snob. She's materialistic, business savvy, and she wants to be fabulously wealthy. And Jeffrey Landgraab is a domestic, family-oriented, outgoing, good, and wants a successful lineage. So they really both want like a big, happy, well, they don't want a big, happy family home, but their goals kind of work together. Like Nancy wants the big house, and then Jeffrey wants the successful lineage. So it kind of works together, like making a lot of money, having this beautiful home and their kids and all of that. But then when it comes to Malcolm in The Sims 4, Malcolm is a teenager. He is a snob, evil, dastardly, and wants to be a public enemy. So I had fun decorating his face as well. And as I had mentioned, we also include a room for Johnny Zest, who I really like. I've created homes for him in the past. He has a trailer home in the world of Oasis Springs, so in the same world that we're building in now. And I've recreated it a couple of times and like updated it and gave him better things. I think he's a cool Sim. He's gregarious, ambitious, a goofball, outgoing, and wants to be a joke star. And basically he was kicked out for wanting to pursue comedy. It says, according to his family bio, he is a member of the Landgraab family, but was disowned by them after dropping out of school to follow the career of being an entertainer. So that's really sad. And for a while, it took us, like, we didn't know at first how he was related. But there was a photo that was shared by the Sims team for Growing Together that showed Nancy holding him when he was an infant. So that gave us the confirmation, yes, he is their child. We were pretty much sure at this point anyway, but that's like the only official confirmation that we've had other than he was related. I'm fairly familiar with this family, but the things that I'm reading that I'm obviously reading off of a screen, I am on the Sims fandom page for the Landgraab family, so I'll try to remember to link that down below if you'd like to take a peek. It like kind of grabs all of their information from all of the Sims games, and if you needed to know what someone's traits were without going and loading up the game, you could just find it on there. As long as it was a townie, obviously it's not going to have like your personal Sims, but anyway, the back of this house is pretty much done. I added that little house in the back, but I haven't decorated the inside yet. That's, I think, the last thing I do in this whole build. But I did decide that we needed to have a vault. That just made sense for this really wealthy family. We got those vaults with Get Famous, so I put it upstairs, and there's some bookcase doors hiding it. I thought that was kind of a fun idea. You could also just use a vault door to enter into a room, but I like the vault object a little bit more. So that's what I opted for, and then we're just trying to figure out what flooring to use in here. I think I went with this one in the end. I could be... No, I went with this one. Yeah, I tried a few different floorings in the end because I really wanted it to be warm, but also like a soft wood color so it would contrast more with the black accents I had throughout. And of course, we start in the kitchen. Most of my builds, I start in the kitchen, not all of them, but I do love decorating a kitchen in The Sims. I'm not sure if you were aware of that. I'm joking. But anyway, in here, I end up using mostly cabinets from Dream Home Decorator, and I paired them with these counters, which are from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack, I'm pretty sure. Just because I don't like the overhead cabinets with them from Cool Kitchen. At least most of the time I don't, because they have the glass panels on them, and I just feel like it looks a little bit too repetitive, and I wouldn't like that style in real life either, so Anyway, we're figuring out how to lay out this kitchen here. I'm actually going to be changing the swatch of the counters to be a brown and black instead of just the black and white, which I think looks a lot better. And I love this little shelf that I put in the corner. It also ends up being in the entryway. That is from the Desert Luxe kit, and I think it's a beautiful item that really, I feel like, brings this house together with the combination of the couple different styles I was trying to achieve here. But yeah, these counters work so much better with this swatch. It just looks so much more warm, even though it's very modern and like clean. And then I merged a table with the island so that way we could put some chairs over here. I just thought that that would look nice. I didn't really want to use island seating, so this is how I achieved that same idea, and I quite like it. I'm also going to be hanging some pots over the counter and I believe a pendant over that table as well. And we'll have a separate dining room that has plenty of seating for as many Sims as you would like. And then we're just decorating the rest of the kitchen. I believe I popped back in and out of this room a couple of different times to add some more clutter because I didn't feel like it was cluttered enough. But that's pretty typical for me. Anyway, I added a mirror over there, one of my favorites, and a little flower as well. And oh yeah, those books. Those books from the Book Nook kit, I feel like I can't stop using them. They are so beautiful. I've been putting them absolutely everywhere. They're just so nice. And then we're moving on into the living room, of course, using these couches from the Desert Luxe kit. I use them outside as well, but they just look so nice in here. They're really modern. They fit the style of like a home in the desert. So I used a lot from that kit. The chairs are from there, the couches, the fireplace, all of it's from there. But I think it ends up being a really cozy, beautiful, wealthy looking lounge room. And I added a beautiful plant in the corner. That one's from the movie hangout stuff pack, and I don't get the chance to use it that often because it's massive, but I thought it fit really nicely in here. And then the coffee table is actually from the newest Book Nook kit. I just liked the clutter underneath it with all the books. And then I get a couple of paintings. I will be rearranging those paintings though, because I end up putting some of those windows that we have to the outside in the walls separating the kitchen from the living room to add some more interest. And I think it looks so cool. So we should be doing that here shortly, I think. So I'll have to rearrange those paintings, but I was fine with that because I just thought it looked so cool. But getting some more curtains, once again, also from Desert Luxe, a heavily used kit in this build. And then we're back in the kitchen, it looks like now, to add those other decorations. I had mentioned earlier I wanted to get a place to put some dishes. I believe we got a dishwasher over here as well. And here are those windows. They look so cool there. One cool thing that this house has that I don't do very often is we have like a butler's kitchen or butler's pantry, I think is what it's called. So I put like a bunch of extra appliances in there, as well as a sink, and then I put the trash cans in here as well. And that leads you into a laundry room or into the garage. And I decided the garage was going to be like a converted gym. I believe the original house had some gym equipment in it somewhere, so I wanted to incorporate that here as well. And then also it just looked nicer, and of course the Sims would have their own gym at home to work out in, like not have to go someplace for that. But these two rooms came together pretty simply. I do get some rugs in them a little bit later on, I think after I finish the garage, but I just got some counters in here, and we have a treadmill as well as a weight machine. And I put a couple of garage type things in here. So we have trash cans, as well as I believe the decoration box from Seasons that allows you to decorate for the various holidays on your house. So I should be grabbing that in a little bit. Yeah, that's right there. I added a TV out here so your Sims could watch TV while they're working out. That seemed like a good idea, and just trying to make the space feel decorated. But the overall style of this house is I wanted it to feel like everything had its place and it was clean and organized, and they definitely have a butler. Speaking of which, I have a room for the butler in this house. I almost forgot about that. One of the bedrooms upstairs is for a butler, so everything is always perfect and pristine and is in its place. The butler keeps the place clean and does a lot of the cooking, so that was the idea. Anyway, this is the dining room. I love this room. I think it is so cozy. The dining table fit in here perfectly. It feels like there's like a little nook specifically for that hutch, and the warm tones in here of the browns are just so nice. I really, really enjoyed this table in particular, which is that from the patio pack? What is that called? Perfect Patio. I want to say that's what it's from, but I could be wrong, because it also kind of looks like it goes with the counters in the kitchen, which would make it from Cool Kitchen. I'm actually not sure, but I haven't used it in a while, and I thought it worked really nicely here. But anyway, we're working on the bathrooms now. There are, I believe, 3 bathrooms in this house. 2 of them are downstairs, so we're working on them at the same time right now. One of them is like the downstairs bathroom for the whole house, and the other one is a ensuite for Nancy and Jeffrey. So they're very similar. Like I said, I wanted everything to look modern, clean, put together. I didn't want like excessive clutter anywhere for this build, so I kept it pretty minimal. But I think they came out really cute. I like the tile I used in these rooms. I believe this tile is actually from Journey to Batu, if I'm remembering correctly. That pack has a couple of really nice floor tiles. A couple of items that I really like as well. But anyway, I am just getting like some soap and stuff on the counters. Very minimal decorations, but things you would expect to find in the space. And then we are working on the primary bedroom for Nancy and Jeffrey. It's, once again, very beige and black like the rest of the house. I think it looks so nice, though. I used this bed from the Dream Home Decorator pack paired with these nightstands from Seasons. We have a nice little tray on one side. And then I also wanted to include one of these same chairs that I had out in the living room. And one of my new favorite lamps in the game. That one is from Growing Together, and I use it a lot. It's just so nice. I feel like that's an item we're kind of lacking in the game is good lamps. I also just added a dresser over here with a mirror over it, and I believe a full-size mirror over in the corner, as well as a lamp on the bedside table. And yes, we got an ottoman at the end as well. And I think that's it for their room. Yeah. And so upstairs, this is going to be the butler's room. I try to keep it pretty simple, but of course it has the same color scheme as the rest of the house, with a pop of blue in here. I really liked this bed from high school year, so I used that, and then just got some cute artwork on the wall, a clock, and I got a desk space for this sim as well. Of course, you're not going to be able to stop your Sims from coming in here and using the computer no matter who it is, unless you lock the door for everyone but the butler, which I would probably recommend doing. But I thought it would be nice to include a room for a butler. It made sense for this house. I would think you would probably hire one if you have the pack for that. If you don't know, we do have butlers in the game. They came with the Vintage Glamour stuff pack, and they're actually a really cool feature. So anyway, this bedroom over here is Malcolm's bedroom. I really was having a hard time figuring out how I wanted to decorate it because I had like a vision in mind based on his traits, but Malcolm, it doesn't look like that's like how he would decorate his space. So I went with more like blues and reds in here, and it's a little bit messy, but not too much. I mean, he is a teenager, and I just tried to add like some movie posters and stuff like that. And I believe I add a voodoo doll in here as well, since he is evil. I thought that could be kind of fun. So just getting a desk over here, and I believe I changed out that other piece of furniture on the side for something else because I don't think I've ever used that before. It's such a strange piece. So I do get rid of that, but I don't remember what I put there instead. And I'm using my favorite lamp again, and got a chair and a laptop. I feel like all these Sims have plenty of computers in their space. Oh yeah, I got a bookcase. I really enjoy the bookcases from the new Book Nook kit. They look so nice here. And I got some more posters as well. And I just think this room came together quite nicely, even though for some reason this is like the room that I had the most trouble with. And even out of all of the towny houses I've done so far, for some reason I was having trouble really imagining a space for this sim. So hopefully you like how it came out. Hopefully you like the whole build, actually. I love how this one came out, and I would love to hear your thoughts. And let's discuss in the comments. And of course, let me know what towny house you would like to see next. I have seen some suggestions for the Spencer Kim Lewis house, and I'm not actually super familiar with them, so that could be kind of fun, but I know what their house looks like, and it's horrible. So I think they are in need of a new house. Anyway, this is the room that used to be Johnny Zest's room, so we just have a bed that's a little bit off, a couple of posters that were left on the walls, and some like old boxes and stuff of things that he didn't take with him because he ended up moving out, and he lives in a little trailer home now. So I just wanted it to look like, somebody used to live in this room, but they don't anymore. I don't imagine the Sims come in here very often, so it's just a room at the end of the hall that has a bunch of stuff in it. That was the idea. I wanted to at least tell that story. And then also, if you decide to play in this family and you want them to be like reunited or whatever, you could probably fix up that room for Johnny. Maybe he moves back home, and you can pursue that idea. I think that could be cute. But anyway, this room over here is just a spare bedroom. We had another room, and I wanted to do the offices in a separate building out back, so I decided just a simple spare bedroom if they have company. But this is going to be their office spaces. They're not too complicated. They kind of fit the style of the rest of the house where they're pretty simple. You walk in and there's a little bit of a lounge space and putting like a logo on the wall for if you're waiting to meet with one of them. And their offices are very similar, but there's like a subtle nod to what Nancy does in hers. And that's like a duffel bag of money, because of course they're going to have lots of money. But it being in a duffel bag, Nancy's up to something. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to play as these Sims, and too bad there isn't like, I don't think there's any kind of interaction. I could be wrong. That's a Sim that's like a detective finding out that somebody's a criminal, because that would be so funny to see how that works in their relationship. I really liked that. I don't play as this family ever, and I think I knew Nancy was a criminal, but I don't know. It still got me all excited when I was decorating these spaces. So they end up having pretty much the same furniture in both of the rooms. I just end up painting the walls slightly differently and adding a couple of different pieces to each side, like I had mentioned, just to make them feel a little bit more unique. So we're getting some like diplomas up on the wall. This side is for Jeffrey, and I just kind of move the bookcases over, and I do the same thing over on Nancy's side as well. And over here, I'm trying to think what we hang up on the wall for her. But there's the duffel bag of cash. I needed to add that. I was immediately drawn to that idea. Do I keep that chalkboard? I feel like I change it for something else. I'm not sure. But we get a couple of like paintings on the wall over here. Those are from the Book Nook kit, and a cozy rug. And then over in Jeffrey's space, I get a different rug a little bit later. Yeah, I got rid of the chalkboard. I wanted to put something else, but what did I put? I also got like a plant. We got some like nice flowers on the desk, and I believe we put business cards on both of the desks as well. Yes, we do. But I don't know why I can't remember what I put up there. I did get some more windows over on this side of the building though, so that the walls didn't look so tall because everything else was so small. Oh yeah, I put that board from Get to Work that has like criminals in it. You know, the wanted criminals. I just thought that was a fun addition to the space. But yeah, just getting some more art on the walls and finishing up this build. There's not too much left. I really hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I had a blast with this one, and I'm really, really proud of it. So hopefully it comes across that way and y'all like it. Like I said, you can download it from the gallery. My EA ID is Gryphi, Gryphi. That info is also in the description down below. And if you liked this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and click that bell to be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you so very much for watching, sticking through with me for this long voiceover. If you did, comment baloney in the chat, and or in the comments. This isn't Twitch. And I will see you all in the next one. Enjoy the screenshots. Bye everyone.